Tonight, the Law Society of Kenya is accusing the state of violating the Constitution and embarking on a culture of human rights violation and use of unreasonable force by government agencies. LSK's statement puts the government at a crossroad with cases of police killings documented and investigations ongoing, which fly opposite in the face of President William Ruto's pledge to end cases of police killings. Ayub Abdikadir has more.
The lawyers' lobby is calling for commitment to the rule of law, and in reference to recently documented cases of police excesses by rights groups, prolonged detention of suspects before presentation in a court of law, alleged abduction by law enforcement agencies and transferring suspects to places outside the jurisdiction of their arrest. The Law Society of Kenya is calling for adherence to the principles of good governance, calling out the government for what it calls subversion of the Constitution. In a statement, LSK says in part, in the past few days, we have witnessed increased cases of citizens being arrested in clandestine manner, similar to abduction by law enforcement agencies and transferred to police stations and other unknown places outside the jurisdiction of their arrest, while being denied communication with their families or advocates, contrary to the Constitution. LSK adding that recent events risk sliding the country back to the dark days, while calling for accountability from relevant institutions.
So these are questions that we have to ask ourselves and to be extremely worried that not even a year or so down the line of this administration. In
the run-up to the presidential election in 2022, President William Ruto, then a presidential candidate, accused the state of misusing the criminal justice system, pledging that his administration will respect the constitutional boundary between the institutions of government. And after forming government,
and I pray that Kenya never again goes to a place where the criminal justice system is used to manipulate politics.
And the head of state pledging to not interfere with the workings of the justice system, guaranteeing an operational space.
There was a huge push by the former administration, our friends, to use the criminal justice system to run their politics, and to fabricate, cases against people merely because they didn't agree with your political side. It is in the public domain.
However, nearly a year into office and in the midst of opposition-led anti-government protests, the government appears to be singing from the same script it accused the previous administration of. And despite reported police brutality during the protests.
Na mimi nataka niwaambie polisi wetu hongera kwa kusimama kidete na kuhakikisha kwamba kuna amani na kuhakikisha kwamba wahalifu wote wanachukuliwa hatua, ndio tuhakikisha kwamba kuna amani Kenya.
The Law Society of Kenya is raising a red flag, saying actions by the police are a reflection of Kenya's past.
We are witnessing scenes that are reminiscent of the days when we had one party rule.
Recent events of documented police brutality brings to the limelight a service that often comes under scrutiny for its actions, with the Independent Policing and Oversight Authority (IPOA) now actively investigating cases of police killings during the opposition anti-government protests. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.